Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the sort of way in which styles actually operate. We've talked a little bit about the way we have colors, paragraphs, and character styles. Well, you can also have object styles. So what's an object style? Well, the easiest way of thinking about it, let's put this over here for now, is if I create an object, say a text box. So let's create a text box over here. Create it here. And I don't have an object style for this. Let's just type in first text, and then I'll put in a whole set of stuff. Let's put in another set of let's pick some body text first of all. Let's pick body text, and we'll place in placeholder. So I've got a load of placeholder. Let's put in the wrong one again. Let's put it in as body text. So I've got lots of body text there. It looks a bit of a mess. There's nothing actually there at the moment. So what we want to do is create this as an object. So let's select the black arrow. So we're selecting the object itself. Let's select it. And we will go to object style, and we will create a brand new object. So let's call it basic box. So I'll create it. I should have done that on the screen. Basic box, I'd call it. And there we go. It doesn't mean anything, but there's nothing actually in there. So let's open it again, and let's start playing with what we actually want to happen with it. Well, let's say we want there to be a background to it. So let's pick a background. Let's make it white. So a white background. That's fine. Let's not worry about the text, but let's think about the stroke. We've got a line around the outside. We could give it a black line around the outside. We can make it quite a thick line if we want to, just by clicking on this. Really chunky. Don't actually like a thick line, but we could do. Let's make it. Maybe use that. Maybe I want it to be corner, sort of a little bit rounded. So let's pick rounded corner, and let's up the size of it. So it's actually quite large. So there we go. Now the other things about it is how much its edges in. So it actually, at the moment you can see it's like following that line around there, because the curvature of the box goes that way. You get it in effectively pushed it to. There's no inset. So what I really want is an inset. So if I go to text frame general options, I've got inset spacing here, and I can just increase the top general options, and let's make them all the same. It should be doing that. Okay, I made a slight mistake back there, so I just recovered it. So now that I'm including the inset spacing, you can see it effectively it gets edged down. So it starts to appear within the actual text. If I wanted to, I could actually change the number of columns that are there as well. So where is it? Column. I can never remember where this is. The general options are the columns. So I could actually sort of change the number of columns that there actually are within the box, and I do that on the main screen, which is here, text frame general options. I've got number of columns, so I could increase the number to 2 or 3 or whatever it actually wants to be. And it's down to me how I actually organize it. One interesting thing is, if you look at this, if I prove and say that's okay, you'll see that let's fit text. So I can select this text. That text is, as we said before, subheading. At the moment, it just goes one way across, doesn't cut across those columns, which might not be quite what we want. So let's go into subheading again. And we've got span columns here. At the moment it says span column, and I could say span columns. And now it will span as many columns as there actually are in this. So let's add some more, and add some more placeholder text so it looks a little bit neater. So now I'm starting to get quite a nice layout going. It doesn't end there, of course. I can go back to the object space. If I want the background to be slightly semi-transparent, I can do. Let's select the box again. Don't even need to have the box selected anymore. So I go back to the basic box, and I can go to the object, and I can select any of them, the fill, the stroke, or whatever. Would make the stroke only transparent. I could select that and change the opacity, so only the stroke opacity changes. I can do it to the fill alone again, and let's reduce it down a little bit. So a little bit of the background coming through, and so on. So let's approve that. And again, because I'm setting this up as a style, it makes it really easy to use this as a style, use it elsewhere. So if I copy that and I put it on another page, say over here, say I'm doing a second page, and zoom out a little bit. I'm doing one here on the infamous Fill Islander. Let's say I want to, I'm just going to distort it. It's not very good, but let's do that. Make the image big enough that it would fill the entire sort of screen, and I'm just going to say fill it. So to do that, I could just go here and go, should be fill, fitting, fill content, or fill frame proportionally. So it will do its best to fill it. I don't have an image that covers everywhere. I'll paste in my text here. This is my other text. Let's put it down there, put it anywhere I like. And of course, because it's a style thing, I can override it. If I wanted a column there, smaller box, I might decide that for this particular box, I want to override it. And I could go up to the column count, which is there, and I could reduce it just for this one. It wouldn't affect it on the other one, just over here. But it would affect it there. And I could reduce the size down a little bit. So I've got two columns, and I've noticed what's happened now is that I've actually got a little bit more text. And if I want to keep that text and run it on somewhere else, I could click on that and put it there, and it would run on to another box. Entirely up to me. I'm going to delete it. And basically the way collecting text as it goes through the entire doc. What you'll find though is that if I change these, it will change there as well. So let's go back to this. Let's say we want to make that, we don't need to select it at all there. We just want to go back to the object here. Let's select this again, and we'll turn the stroke, and we'll make that red. Okay. And of course now, over here, it's red there as well. This is a great way of reflecting a style change throughout an entire doc. You can make up a standard set of headings, subheadings, text, etc., and use them and reuse them wherever you need them. And if you want to update them and change them, they ripples through the entire doc, making it really easy. Okay. Now, one thing to remember is that these photographs that I put in here are not actually inside the document. It's actually looking at where I've linked them to from where they were stored on the hard drive. So they're not actually embedded within the doc. If you move them or change them on the hard drive, they will change here. If you move them somewhere else, they'll lose the links. So you've got to be a little bit careful about this. The advantage is that you can put things in place that aren't finished, and they'll update when they are, which is really quite handy. You have got to just do like a refresh to actually do it, but it will update. That's very, very handy. It does mean you must not keep moving your things around. Now, at the end of it, when you finish making your document, you can package everything together, and that will bring everything, fonts, all the images into one single folder that you can then archive and put somewhere, and there will never ever be any chance of them going missing. Now, before we go any further, I want to add a couple of things to this, and one is you've seen that there's a safe frame that was set up when we set the document up. We can go through and we can change that, just as we can add any guidelines that we actually want ourselves. So for example, if I want to create a new guideline, I can just drag it in and place it wherever I want. And they can be edited at any time that you like. And when you're creating a box, it will make it really easy for you to sort of line that box up with it. I'll do it over here though, because it's a little bit easier to see on this. So on the white. So let's put a line in here, and let's create a little box. So I'm going to create a box. There we go. So that's just a box that I've created. If I want to clone it, I can hold Alt down and I can move it and place it where I want. Now notice the smart guides that are appearing. Whenever it lines up somewhere, it shows me that it's lining up, and I can just let go and it will leave it in that place. Do it again, and if I move it down, move it across there, it shows me that the middle line has been lined up. And delete that one. Delete that one. If I want to do it again, then you get something quite interesting. There you go. It's showing you that the gaps are even. It makes it really easy to line things up, and there's all sorts of routines that allow you and help you to line things up in InDesign, which I won't go into at the moment. I think it's handy to talk in terms of grids and things though, because that's one of the strengths of this. You can actually set a whole set of grids up to help you get define the layout that you actually want. But initially, just laying it out this way, as far as the positions that you want, setting these sort of values, the sort of areas near the side where you don't want it to go, are all good ways of doing it. I'll show you layers and master pages next after this.